Hi guys, my name's Cass, better known as BisexDean on Tumblr, and I'm going to talk to you about the representation of LGBTQIA within the show Supernatural. I think this is a really good time to post it with all the controversy in the hashtag of AskSupernatural. And to those of you that are upset with us asking POC questions, or representation questions, or shipper questions, I think you really need to stop. We have a right to ask these questions, and we have rights as fans to wonder why they're not doing enough to represent us. You just need to be happy. Go look at pictures of cats. Anyway, let's get back to representation. So, it's widely discussed within the Supernatural family about the orientation of the main three characters being Sam Winchester, Dean Winchester, and Castiel. And I'd like to mainly talk about Dean in this context. So, let's say you ask me, is Dean Winchester bi? And let's say I'm a producer, or manager, or writer, or hell, anyone on that set. Except Misha. Misha doesn't count. Don't trust what he says. I'd say, what? No, Dean is straight. See? Look at all the useless female love interests we're throwing at him, and then they'll just die the next day. Straight as a whistle. See, he even has sex scenes with them that are unimportant and don't flow with the show. Which, of course, is an absolute load of horseshit of an excuse for no homo, just to save face in their ratings. The writers need to own up to the show they've written. Dean is not straight. He is not. Saying that he's straight is not only by erasure, but also a reinforcement in the idea of heteronormativity. Yep, I know, I use the big scary H word. And for those of you that don't know what heteronormativity means, I'll describe it simply as the idea that all characters are straight unless the character states personally otherwise. Which is just a dumb idea. Characters shouldn't have to announce their preference to be non-straight. I mean, you know, characters don't walk into the room and be like, hey Billy, guess what? I'm straight. It's just wrong, you know? It's reinforcing the idea that we're different, and that we're lesser. And that straight is the default. So, back to the topic of representation. Dean Winchester is possibly the most disputed representation of a queer character within Supernatural. My personal stance on the orientation of Mr. Fake-Ass Handsome McGee, little 21 Jump Street there for ya, is that he's either bisexual or polysexual. There's really way too many examples in the show on why Dean is clearly bisexual for me to name, and keep this video under 20 minutes, but to name a few, he had a male siren, he flirted with that one officer and got all flustered near him in yellow fever, he checked out a man in uniform in the 1940s, and let's not forget when he helped Charlie by telling her how to flirt with a man. The polysexual is more of a stretch, but I think it's just as likely. It's a little bit more open than bi, and not as open as pansexual, but I think it could still fit Winchester. I'm gonna skip over Sam, because I don't have a lot of issues with Sam's representation, because it's fairly obvious that at the least he's bi, with Crowley's remark of demon lover, and polysexual Sam, it's all right there. Sam's a lover, not a hater. I mean, I bet his sex is probably rad if he didn't have a high mortality rate afterwards. And the only problems I really have with Sam are the fact that he's being swept aside like a side character, which I'll address in a different video. Let's get to my biggest frustration of Season 9, which is Castiel. Where do I begin? I am 99% sure Cass is asexual, and in particular demisexual. He was unresponsive when it came to any type of sexual stuff until he fell. I mean, example, Dean took him to the brothel. That's really all I need to say about that. And regards to Castiel, he's not even human. He's a wavelength of celestial intent. He does not care about gender, and to quote himself, he does not give a shit about sexual orientation. So why did the writers force him to be straight? Why? Tell me why. Give me one good reason why in the comments. He was unresponsive when it came to sex, But then, the writer said, let's make him straight and play some more no homo with the audience by giving him the blatantly useless and tasteless close-up of a woman's chest from Castiel's perspective, as if just waking up from a sex drive, libido, you know, just gaining it, as if asexuality doesn't exist, and giving us that incredibly misplaced sex scene with April. Look, the writing in that scene was just really shitty. I don't give a shit of what you say about that scene. I don't care that it was her mission to find him, however it was. No one is gonna believe, honestly, that she took a man home that she just met, that was homeless, and then decided to have sex with him. That is just really shitty and poorly planned out. It's like literally they're making this up off the top of their heads. And I'd really like to expand further on that, but I really can't without throwing shit across the room. And so we got company in the other room, and I don't want to cause a scene. To top it all off, Charlie Bradbury. God, I love that girl. But she's really the only representation we've had. I mean, maybe over 10 years we've had 4 canon, if I remember correctly. 4 canonly queer characters. That's not enough. This show's been running for 10 years. And counting. You really need more representation in that area. I mean, look at the generation that's watching your show. They know about Tumblr. They know who watches their show. And they continually make fun of the audience that does watch it. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that's the most surefire way to kill the audience that's watching the show. I'm just really disappointed in the CW. I mean, Charlie Bradbury, kick-ass, great. But she acted really, really masculine. And I think that's another stereotype that goes into being lesbian. You know, it's just, they play into stereotypes and they have such a potential to just shatter that barrier. They need to be aware of what they're writing and the big influence they have. Supernatural is one of the most popular shows currently airing in the US. I mean, my whole family watches Supernatural. Literally. The family business is the family business for us. And you're gonna tell me that it's not enough to influence what you're writing? No, that's bullshit. They have the potential to change so much and to write the greatest love story ever told about an angel who fell from grace and a man that clawed his way from hell. And all of it was written accidentally. But it's a beautiful storyline that they could jump on. But they don't. They shove useless plot lines and sex scenes at us instead and make us go round and round the demon trap with the same overused themes. I'd like them to keep that in mind when it comes up again as to why their pilot failed for Bloodlines. Now, the writers have a chance to be bi-inclusive and queer-accepting to show that those who feel like outcasts have someone they can hold on to when they feel down. They have potential to save teens' lives from committing suicide because those kids feel like genetic mutations, but then they could watch that show and have their badass main character still come out on top of everything and be queer. They have this potential to show the world that stereotypes are just stereotypes. There is no truth to them. But they don't. They play it safe, and I'm just disappointed. I don't know if I still want to support a show that's going to continue to make me feel like shit for my sexual preference. I mean, I already feel like shit enough. Why should I add more to the pile? I just wish they'd take a chance with this show. Nothing's ever going to change if you don't put the effort in to try. So, thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed my rant about representation in Supernatural. And next video will be about POC representation in Supernatural, followed by an LGBTQIA video of representation in BBC Sherlock. Thank you.